Yes. Okay, Rusty?
Each teaching learning situation is maximal in the sense that each person involved will learn the most that he can from the other person at that time. In this sense, and in this sense only, we can speak of levels of teaching. Using the term in this way, the second level of teaching is a more sustained relationship, in which for a time two people enter into a fairly intense teaching and learning situation, and then appear to separate. As with the first level, these meetings are not accidental, nor is what appears to be the end of the relationship a real end. Again, each has learned the most he can at the time. Yet all who meet will someday meet again. For it is the destiny of all relationships to become holy. God is not mistaken in his Son.
I use that teaching here to really make it okay to not hang on to old friendships, which were beautiful and wonderful, and I value them, but not give them all the time and energy. And the same with marriages. It's like, it's really okay. We outgrew one another. I love you, I always will, but our job is done together. And that's really helped me to understand. And it gets back to what you were saying about what God has joined together. It cannot be put asunder. Don't worry about it. We're always one, but we can appear to separate.
And per what he's saying here, it's important that we allow ourselves to flow with the Spirit to the next meeting, because we have lessons. There are certain lessons we can learn from certain people, and when we've learned them and they don't want to learn anymore, it says, to sit around and beat each other on the head really is a waste of time and isn't serving any overall plan of increasing our faith that love is what we are and love is what we can give. It really just gets people kind of dead in the water. It's a really held on belief, which I could understand until I read this. It didn't make sense. It seems like you should be able to just stick out any relationship and make it work. But if people have free will and they don't want to learn and you want to keep learning, you can't just stay somewhere where you're not supposed to be and be following this plan. And Jesus is our example. He says, I'm your example. Did he stick around? He was rolling around everywhere. He was wandering around everywhere. He didn't stick anywhere. His family, he was constantly moving. So he's an example. I guess we're supposed to be light and moving.
Well, I know when I ended, and I did, of course, the end of our 24-year marriage. But it was basically, I did have an understanding of that. He was one place and I was another, and
because when you're going in different directions, you can't help start trying to, you're hurting me, you're not going the direction I want to go, and you're hurting me, you can't help but start fighting because you have two different movements, and your spirit is moving you in a different direction. And it would be nice if we all had a lighter hold of the idea of relationships, something more like this, so we could allow relationships to split with more understanding,
Without animosity.
Without animosity and without the outside judgment. It would be so nice if we understood when things are over, they're over, and that doesn't mean anyone's bad, and it doesn't mean anyone failed. It means it's over, right?
I heard Leon DiCaprio. No, that wasn't it. It was the one who did that.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, he was talking about his mother and father having a divorce, and they divorced after like 6 or 7 years, and they had 2 children, 2 sons. And when it was time for their 25th anniversary, even though they had been divorced for this many years, the father asked the mother, could we get together and just have a dinner and celebrate?
Wow.
Yeah. And the waiter said, well, is there a special occasion? You ordered champagne, and he said, well, we're celebrating a 25th wedding anniversary, but we've been divorced for 20 years.
That is so cool.
That is very cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
Let's have more of that kind of experience.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
because
Because they share children especially, that would be nice. For children, you know,
For kids.
my experience, my parents were divorced too, and I think what makes a divorce traumatic for children is when the parents don't like each other and try to blame each other. But if they split saying, we still love each other, respect each other, that doesn't hurt children because they now know love is constant. It doesn't change just because the form of the relationship changes. That gives you a lot more security than thinking you got to hold on to one person for the rest of your life. To know that you can move on in a loving way. So it's just the way you move out. Divorce itself, I don't think, is a problem for children. It's when you have to now blame your father because your mother hates him. And it's your father. That's what happened to me. I don't want to blame my father. I want to love my father. I don't want to be pressured into seeing him the way you see him. But you know, when you're in situations where children are forced, you end up believing the side you're with because you don't know any better. You know, but that's the damage.
This idea that all who meet will someday meet again, for it is the destiny of all relationships to become holy. That's like, remembering that, it's like, well, how long am I going to hold on to animosity against a former spouse? Forgive him now. Let go now. Forgive myself now. Because sooner or later it has to be done.
It has to be done eventually. You might as well get it over with. He says you're going to do this someday. Why hold on to it? That's a good point. If you got to do it, get it over with.